Hi boys and ghouls. So today we are going to be doing a double feature movie massacre with
John Wick 3 and Godzilla.
Alright, so stay tuned if you guys want to hear our opinions. Bye.
It's been a long day at the movies, that's for sure.
Yes, that is for sure.
Alright. Go off, sis.
Go off, sis? Okay. Which one are we starting with?
I don't know, just talk about the movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. Like, one first and then the other, and then I'll do my spiel.
Okay. I'm buckling in, and so should you guys for this review.
Yeah, buckle in.
So thoughts on John Wick 3 we'll start with, because that was the first movie we saw.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. It was really good, obviously. Like, I didn't expect it to not be that good because it's John Wick.
Yeah, and the other two are great.
So, yeah, I mean, it was... I'm trying to gather my thoughts. There was a lot of, like, crazy-ass scenes where I feel like they took that movie, like, to the next level.
I would absolutely agree. So, I'm going to talk a lot.
I'm going to just roll down the windows.
Because it's hot.
Because it's hot as shit. Okay.
And now we got lightning. How fun. Okay, anyway. John Wick is like one of my favorite action movie franchises that exists. And I was so goddamn hyped for the third one. And, like, my expectations were high because I knew they would live up to it. But honestly, it even surpassed my high expectations by doing some fucking wild ass stuff that I did not expect. And, like, again, we're topping the action of two of the craziest action movies, like, I've seen. And they absolutely topped it. And not to get spoilery about it, but there's dog stuff, there's horse stuff, there's fucking knife fights that are insane.
We'll do a spoiler review on the podcast if you want.
We could do that.
We might do like a double feature podcast episode. Like, usually when we talk about reviews on here, it's spoiler free, and then over on the podcast we dive a little more in depth.
But yeah, so basically, like, everything they do in that movie is like cranked up to 11, and it's like fucking stellar.
And just to see it in theaters, because I just recently watched the first two for the first time, as you guys seen on our third vlog, I believe it was, our second vlog. And so it's cool to like get to see it in theaters, and that was really nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like the sound, like it's definitely one of those movies that's so worth seeing in theaters, because like the sound is a big part of it, whether it's like the gunfights or whatever, or just like the hard-hitting like thwumps and stuff of the fight scenes. It's just very much worth the sound experience.
And they just take like all the fight scenes and like all the action stuff like to the next level.
It's absurd.
Like, and you might be thinking like, oh my gosh, like how could you take it up to the next level more? But it was.
They do.
They do.
It's crazy. And then knowing that there's a fourth one on the horizon is just like, damn, dude, like I cannot wait to see what they're gonna do, because ooh, that was cool. Because I mean, these guys know what the fuck they're doing with their action scenes. And they have like such a compelling movie too. So like they've created such a cool world that they consistently expand upon and add more like mythology to, and I just think that's like super cool. John Wick 3, 10 out of 10. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it or nothing. That movie was stellar.
It's good. So next we saw Godzilla. These were like two of Zach's like must see films. I just want to start by saying that the best part of that whole experience for me was that they played the It 2 trailer, and I'm so fucking happy I got to see it in the theaters on the big screen, because that's my most anticipated film of the year. That and like 3 from Hell probably. But yes, it was beautiful. It was perfect. Loved it.
Are you talking about the trailer or
I'm
Godzilla?
talking about the trailer. Of it too. But Godzilla was very good. It was exactly how I thought it was going to be. Super action-packed, obviously. We saw it in IMAX, so that was kind of cool.
Very worth it. Again, sound design in that movie is stellar, so the IMAX sounds setup is crazy loud, so it's very worth it.
The storyline is like really likable and easy to follow, I feel like, and it's very heartfelt. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. We just got out, so I'm like but yeah, and then imagery and like film was beautiful. Obviously Millie Bobby Brown's in that, and that's a huge selling point for me because I love her a lot, and I think she's a great young actor.
Yeah, I thought she was really good in this. She didn't hit annoying young person in that type of movie.
No.
Like, okay, so I don't know if you saw War of the Worlds, but Dakota Fanning or whatever her name is.
I know who Dakota Fanning is. I haven't seen that movie.
Well, if you saw that movie, she spends the entire fucking movie just screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming, and it's so annoying, and that like really soured me on not only her but just like young actors in these kind of like crazy disaster movies. But I thought Millie Bobby Brown was really good in this one. Like she was a really good character. Now here's what I want to say. So before I get to like all the like awesome stuff about the movie,
Go off, sis.
this is going off against anybody that's like hypercritical about the movie online, because I'm sure you've seen like a lot of contrasting opinions, like on Twitter or whatever, of people that are like the AV Club has a article with a headline that says you can't have a 2-hour movie of monsters fighting, and I didn't read the article, so full disclosure there. But with that being said, this movie is not just 2 hours of monsters fighting. In fact, like I think that's such a like
quick jets, like a snap.
It's a generalization, yeah. And again, I don't know what they say in the article, but like honestly, it's really not. And on the inverse side of things, like for people saying that like the characters aren't good and that this like that stuff isn't good, because that was another criticism. I was kind of like, I mean, everything's pretty serviceable. Like if you saw the Godzilla 2014, I wasn't a big fan of that movie. I liked Godzilla in it, and I liked like when they did get to some action scenes, but it was almost like this like drama focused on the people, and this one has a lot of that, but I didn't like anybody in the 2014 one, and it was annoying following them, and they were doing a lot of stuff that was just like stupid and like not really worth following, whereas the people in this one, like everything they're doing has like a huge purpose, and they do cool stuff.
And it's kind of like too with the characters, it's hard to like choose sides. Like you're kind of like,
yeah, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, you're not wrong.
Like you're kind of teeter-tottering. But really good. Honestly, I feel like it's one that you should go see in theaters if you're contemplating, just because again, sound and visuals, and same with John Wick, I would say the same thing.
I have more to say about Godzilla though.
No,
so.
you're not. No, I mean, I'm not ending it. I'm just saying.
But yeah, so everything had a purpose. Like when they were doing stuff, there's a lot of cool little excursions they take, for lack of a better term, to not spoil things. And again, like, the things that the human characters are doing, like, is important. Whereas in the first movie, it just didn't feel like that, and everybody was just annoying. I didn't like them in the first one. So that's that part out of the way, and I disagree with most of what I'm seeing online about all that stuff. On the other side of things, the monster shit is fucking spectacular, and every time that they're on screen, they're framed in a way to just be like one of the most like beautiful shots I've ever seen in my life, in a movie, because they're just like always in an extremely like saturated and colorful like situation. So whether it's like Ghidorah being like flanked by like lightning and like this crazy storm, or like Rodan with like fire and stuff all around him, or Mothra's like beautiful like lights and stuff, and then Godzilla when he's like swimming and like his lights are on the spikes. Everything is just like gorgeous, and then when they actually start fighting, like, it's just, we had a little storage issue there. So right now we have a Ghidorah like storm going on, and it's quite fitting given what we just came out of.
Who's your favorite?
Okay.
Monster.
I'm glad you asked. So
mine is Godzilla.
Okay, of course.
But
you can't go wrong.
But that's not because it's not me trying to have a basic answer or basic opinion. No. It's just the truth.
I mean, he's fucking rad. Like, how can you not? But for a long time, Rodan has been my favorite monster in Godzilla films, and like I've been watching Godzilla movies for a long time. So like, I love Rodan in like his own standalone movie that exists from like the 60s or 50s. I can't remember. And then he was also in another one where it's like Godzilla versus another creature that Rodan's like a part of, and it might actually be with Ghidorah. And it's like Ghidorah and Rodan like teaming up against Godzilla, and it's just like Rodan's like so fucking cool because he's like such a challenge for Godzilla, because like the flying part like makes him difficult to deal with. At least in the old movie. Oh, it's so hot.
You could talk a little bit louder, because I feel like the audio.
Yeah, it probably will. But anyway, he's just like a challenge, and he's just like a cool fucking monster, because he's like a giant pterodactyl, and in this movie, like, he's never been fucking cooler. Like, this is the coolest that Rodan's ever been. So I was just like, my heart was full. Mothra's awesome, but
she's really, I would say that she's my favorite, but
she's really cool in the old movies, and then in this movie she's like this like benevolent goddess, which is really cool. But yeah, dude, it was fucking stellar. Ghidorah's awesome. He is like such an imposing threat. Lots of cool visuals. I fucking loved it. Very much worth your time.
I agree. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. And until next time,
we're gonna go brave this storm.
I was gonna try to say something about John Wick. I was trying to think of something funny.
Tick-tock, John Wick.
Till next time.
Oh, tick-tock, John Wick.